أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد وانتشت روحي وصار الدمع يجري.
We begin the month of Ramadan upon yaqeen, and we end off the month of Ramadan upon yaqeen, upon certainty. We do not leave any room for this doubt and for these shukuk. On a side note, what does Ramadan mean? Ramadan, Ramda, it means this dryness, this burning sensation that you feel in your throat, this burning sensation that you feel in your stomach due to you staying away from food. This is Ramadan and this is Ramda, and that is the root of this word Ramadan. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Hadith number 528. وعن عمار بن ياسر رضي الله تعالى عنه قال من صام اليوم الذي يشك فيه فقد عصى أبا القاسم. ذكره البخاري تعليقا ووصله الخمسة وصححه ابن حبان. This hadith narrated by Ammar ibn Yasir رضي الله تعالى عنه, he had mentioned to the people and he said, من صام اليوم الذي يشك فيه, whoever fasts the day which is the day of doubt, whoever fasts the day of doubt, فَقَدْ عَصَى أَبَا الْقَاسِمِ, then this person has disobeyed the father of Qasim, meaning the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His kunya, as we all know, his agnomen was the father of Qasim, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam's young son who had passed away, Qasim. من صام اليوم الذي يشك فيه فقد عصى أبا القاسم, whoever fasts the day which is the day of doubt, then he has disobeyed the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The question begs, what is the day of doubt? The day of doubt is the day wherein the 30th of the previous month, Allahumma, the month of Shaban, if for example the Muslims go out and they look for the hilal and they do not find the hilal, they go out on the 30th, the night of the 30th of Shaban. So the next day might be Shaban or it might be Ramadan. Again, the Muslims have gone through 29 days of Shaban. Now after 29 days, everybody goes out, they look for the hilal. Can we sight the hilal? If we do, tomorrow is Ramadan. If we don't, then tomorrow is the 30th of Shaban. If on this evening, on this night, if it is extremely cloudy and we are unable to sight the hilal and we have doubt, maybe the hilal was out there, but due to the cloud cover, we were unable to see the hilal. Or maybe there was no hilal. So tomorrow, is it Ramadan in that we could not see the hilal, or is it the 30th of Shaban because in reality there was no hilal? I hope you understand that point. The day of Shak is the 30th of Shaban if the previous night was a cloudy night. It was cloudy, so we could not sight the hilal if it was there. Counter argument, maybe the hilal was not even there. So what do we do in this circumstance? Majority of the scholars based upon the hadith, فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ فَأَكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ ثَلَاثِينَ. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us the recipe out of this matter, and he stated that if it is cloudy, then finish off the month of Shaban 30 days. So there is no room for this day of doubts. We finish off the month of Shaban 30 days and then we begin the month of Ramadan upon certainty. We do not begin the month of Ramadan in doubt. Also, hadith number 528 gives us the same meaning. If you fast the 30th of Shaban thinking that maybe it is the first of Ramadan and I just want to be on the safe side, then in reality you have disobeyed Abul Qasim, you have disobeyed the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is the opinion of majority of the scholars, the Hanafis, the Shafis and the Maliki scholars. Whereas Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah and the Hanbali scholars, they are of the opinion that one should fast the 30th of Shaban because maybe it is the first of Ramadan. then how did they answer these ahadith? What was their proof in the matter? They stated that Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala an, as narrated by Imam Abu Dawood, Ibn Umar, he would fast the day of doubt, just to be doubly sure. And so Imam Ahmed and the Hanbali scholars say that one should fast the 30th of Shaban if the previous night was cloudy. If it was not cloudy, then there is no argument in the matter. There is no differing amongst the scholars with regards to that matter. The Hilal was not out. We finish the month 30 days and then we begin the month of Ramadan. So the day of doubt is only when we come upon ourselves the 30th of Shaban and the previous night was cloudy. Maybe the Hilal was out, maybe it was not. So the Hanbali scholars said to be on the safe side, one should fast this day, and they came with the actions of Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala an. And in one of the narrations of the hadith, فَقْدُرُوا لَهُ, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam stated, فَقْدُرُوا لَهُ, that make tadyiq. They understood the word فَقْدُرُوا لَهُ, that if it is cloudy, then فَقْدُرُوا لَهُ, then make Shaban constricted, make Shaban narrow, meaning make Shaban 29 days. Whereas majority of the scholars understood this word فَأَقْدِرُوا لَهُ, that make taqdeer of 30 days and then begin the month of Ramadan. Shaban is 30 days. You begin the month of Ramadan upon certainty. The Hanbali scholars, the actions of Ibn Umar, number one, and number two, their interpretation of that hadith, they stated that فَقْدُرُوا لَهُ, that make it constricted, make the month of Shaban narrow, and you can only narrow it by making it 29 days. And la shak, the opinion of majority of the scholars in this matter is the stronger opinion, and most mu'asir Hanbali scholars, Sheikh bin Baz, Sheikh Uthaymeen, Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, the former Mufti of Saudi Arabia, they were all of the opinion that you do not fast on the day of doubt. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his kunya was Abul Qasim. We also find a narration recorded by Imam al-Hakim where Jibreel had come to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam and called him by another kunya. What kunya was this? Ya Aba Ibrahim, O the father of Ibrahim. But this hadith has some weakness in it. The famous and the authentic kunya of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Abul Qasim, the father of Qasim. What about that person, subhanallah, who had made fun of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam when his son Qasim had passed away? He said, you are abtar, you are cut off. This person, we don't even know who he is. But the legacy of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam still lives on. 5 times a day from the minara, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam's name is shouted out. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam's name is mentioned in the adhan. But this person who mentioned to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you don't have any male offspring, your male offspring has passed away, you don't have any legacy. This person's legacy has been cut off, and he is abtar, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states. Also from this hadith, the scholars have taken out a principle, and this principle is al-aslu baqa'u ma kan ala ma kan. That the basic foundation and basic rule is that everything is upon what it is until we know of certain change. Everything is upon what it is until we are certain of change. Meaning, a person is married to Sister Salihah and he doubts whether he has given her a divorce or not. What do we say? Your nikah is thabit, your nikah is normal, it is fine until you have certainty that you have given her a divorce. A person has wudu and he doubts whether he has broken his wudu or not. We say that your wudu is fine until you are sure that your wudu has been broken. A person is sure, he is certain that he did not take a fresh wudu and he doubts whether he has taken a fresh wudu. We say the basic rule is that you have certainty that you did not have wudu, so we hold on to that thabit, we hold on to that strong foundation until we know of certainty changing us from that position to another. Same here. We are in the month of Shaban. We do not leave the month of Shaban until we have certainty that we have begun the month of Ramadan. How do we attain that certainty? By two methods. Number one, we finish off the month of Shaban 30 days. Or number two, on the 29th we see the hilal of the month of Ramadan, and so we begin the month of Ramadan upon certainty. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Hadith number 529. وعن ابن عمر رضي الله تعالى عنهما قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إذا رأيتموه فصوموه وإذا رأيتموه فأفطروا فإن غم عليكم فاقدروا له متفق عليه ولمسلم فإن أغمي عليكم فاقدروا له 30 وللبخاري فأكملوا العدة 30 وله في حديث أبي هريرة فأكملوا عدة شعبان 30. These are hadith which lend obviously to the opinion of majority of the scholars which we have previously mentioned. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated, إِذَا رَأَيْتُمُوهُ فَصُومُوا. When you see the hilal, when you see it, it meaning what? The hilal. فَصُومُوا, then fast the month of Ramadan. وَإِذَا رَأَيْتُمُوهُ فَأَفْطِرُوا. And when you see the hilal again, then break your fast. Now it is the month of Shawwal. فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ فَقْدُرُوا لَهُ. And if it is cloudy, then فَقْدُرُوا لَهُ, then calculate. فَقْدُرُوا لَهُ, calculate. Calculate meaning make Shaban 30 days. فَإِنْ أُغْمِيَ عَلَيْكُمْ فَقْدُرُوا لَهُ 30. A hadith which is quite clear in the matter that if it is cloudy, then make Shaban 30 days. فَأَكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ 30. Complete the month of Shaban 30 days. وله في حديث أبي هريرة فأكملوا عدة شعبان 30. Complete Shaban 30 days. This hadith narrated by who? Narrated by Ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala an. And we said that the Hanbali scholars, their argument was, Ibn Umar, he narrates these ahadith, and then he went on to fast the day of Shak. So they said that we practice upon the action of this Sahabi who narrated the very hadith, but maybe not upon the hadith. Majority of the scholars, they said, La, Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anh, he probably made ta'weel, he probably had his own ijtihad in the matter, and he might have forgotten, but we practice upon what the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated, and that is the opinion of majority of the scholars, even the mu'asir, contemporary Hanbali scholars, that a Muslim is not allowed to fast on the day of doubt. So we state in summary, based upon hadith number 528 and 529, that we begin the month of Ramadan upon certainty. And what is the certainty? Either we finish the month of Shaban 30 days, or that we see the hilal for the month of Ramadan. What are some of the wisdoms in that the Sharia attaching the beginning of this month and the ending of this month to the sighting of the hilal? Some of the wisdoms are that the alim, the jahil, the person who's a Bedouin, the person who's out there in the middle of the jungle, in the middle of the forest, all of them have the opportunity. None of them are disenfranchised. Everyone has the opportunity of seeing the hilal, whether you are alim, whether you are jahil. The simplicity of the sharia, that you are not required to do some mathematics and some great calculations or citing through some astronomical means, etc. La, the simplicity of our sharia. You sight the hilal, you begin the month of Ramadan. You sight the hilal, you end off the month of Ramadan. What about using binoculars? Or maybe using a telescope? Or maybe sending up an aeroplane to go and check for the hilal? Is this permissible? And the answer is yes. Because we are still sighting the hilal. Whether it means by means of a telescope or anything of the sort, all those means are permissible. Walhamdulillah. We find every single year the Muslims are deferred, especially in the West. We find that some of them are following Mecca in their sighting, some of them are following the local sighting, and they differ amongst themselves with regards to this matter. At times we have people within a single masjid differing amongst themselves. Within a single family, the father is fasting and the son is not. because the son goes to a particular masjid and the father attends the congregational salah at a different masjid. This is totally unacceptable. What is acceptable is that the people of a given country unite upon one of two opinions. Number one, the first opinion in that all the Muslims of the world follow one sighting. The Messenger ﷺ stating in hadith number 529, إِذَا رَأَيْتُمُوهُ فَصُومُوا, that when you see it, when you, meaning who? Meaning the Muslims. When the Muslims sight the hilal, then you fast. So any Muslim, whether he be in Spain or Africa or in Saudi Arabia, when he sights the moon, everyone begins fasting. And when a Muslim sights the moon, wherever he might be from, everybody breaks their fast. That's the first opinion, a valid opinion. Second opinion, based upon the hadith of Qurayb in Sahih al-Bukhari, that the people of Sham, they had began their fast one day earlier than the people of Medina. And Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala, when he was informed about this, he said, this is how the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam had taught us, had informed us, that we have local sighting as per every group, every place. And they interpreted this hadith to mean, إِذَا رَأَيْتُمُوهُ فَصُومُوا, when you see it, then you fast. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was speaking to who? To the Muslims? La, he was speaking to the Muslims of Medina. So this does not include the Muslims of Spain, or the Muslims of South Africa, or the Muslims of the UK. From this one hadith, two groups of scholars understood the words of this hadith, just like how the Sahaba had differed, they also differed. One group of scholars said the Messenger ﷺ was speaking to the Muslims as a nation. Who was he addressing? First group, he was addressing the Muslims generally. Second group of scholars, the Messenger ﷺ was addressing the Muslims of Medina. So the Muslims of Mecca, the Muslims of Sham, they follow their own sighting. And that's why the Hay'a Kibar al-Ulama, they ruled on the matter and they said that this matter the scholars have been differing upon from the time of the Sahaba. So if the scholars of that given country conclude to follow one of these two valid opinions, then that will be fine and there is no problem in the matter. But what is totally unacceptable is that people within a given country, people within a given masjid, within a family, within a town, they differ amongst themselves, and that is totally unacceptable. Two valid opinions, all the Muslims follow one sighting in fasting and in breaking the fast. Second valid opinion, every country or every jiha, every area to themselves. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. We hope inshallah in the future that once the Muslims have central authority, then every single Muslim upon the earth can begin fasting with his brother Muslims and can begin ending the fast with his or her brother Muslims bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. I hope that you understand the reason for differences amongst the scholars in this mas'ala. What is the reason for the differing? The reason is, who was the Messenger ﷺ addressing? Was he addressing all the Muslims generally, or was he addressing the Muslims of Medina specifically? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. And with that, inshallah, we will take a 5-minute break and then return. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.